Item 3, item 3.1, the public forum, and it's my pleasure this morning to welcome Poto Williams, the MP for Christchurch East. Poto, good to have you with us this morning. Welcome. You have 5 minutes to address the council. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Kia ora, Andrew, and thank you very much for the opportunity. Good morning, councillors. Just want to acknowledge behind me I've got a team from the Richmond and Shirley community. Thank you this morning for coming along. Just a sec, I promise I won't take up too much of your time. I know you're busy. I've been the local Member of Parliament for Christchurch East for about 5 years, and the last 2.5, 3 years or so I've produced a report that lists my activity, and the reports show that about 5% of the work that my office deals with is actually within the council jurisdiction. You know, drains, rubbish, breaches of consents and the like. So it's quite a significant amount of work that we do to support our council. I work with officials directly and with staff, sometimes with councillors and community board members, but the way that I work is actually to hold my line until I get a result. On a recent visit that was organised by the residents of Shirley and Richmond, myself and Mike Davidson, in the space of about an hour or so, met with 6 individuals and families to discuss a variety of issues that I have brought to you today. You have a copy of the documents that the residents gave me on that day, and I hope you take the opportunity to read it. It makes for compelling reading. They talk in their various submissions about lack of repair of drains, of roads, of footpaths that are impassable, of trip hazards and general neglect. And they also talk how they are impacted by the widening of drains due to the Flockton flooding, and how they've been treated by officials and staff and contractors. I met with 3 households directly. One woman who's on this beautiful property, she's across the creek from the contractors. She suffers from the movement of machinery, from the dumping of material during the day, and then at night she's got to put up with the sound of generators and pumps disturbing her space. She's actually also got to mitigate her property for safety for when her grandchildren visit. I heard from another family whose driveway has had to be carved out to widen a drain. They argued with council officials for 5 months that she would not be able to get her vehicles in and out of her garage. 5 months. It took 5 minutes for an official to go down there and attempt to put her car into the garage to realise that they'd made a mistake and they had to actually do something about their plans. They argued for 5 months. There was another, I didn't actually meet the person, but a situation where a guy has not had access through his driveway to his property for the best part of a year and has to cross the creek across a scaffold platform, which is completely inappropriate. And I was shocked by what I saw. But what was even more shocking was when I went to a citizenship ceremony that evening and spoke to a councillor about what I'd seen that day. I got from that councillor, and I'm paraphrasing, that the East has had more than its fair share of rates. That shocked me even more, and I've been stewing about it ever since. I was not expecting to have this expressed in such a blatant way, and perhaps that councillor who said it to me doesn't really realise how bad it is, and doesn't realise how bad that statement was. I believe such is the negative bias that has gone on unchallenged about the East, and I'm here to remind you that as elected representatives you have to get rid of your negative East biased attitudes and change your frame of reference. You are about to embark upon an allocation of resource in the long-term plan, and you need to use a lens of equity of amenity for all citizens so that the citizens of the East suburbs can have access to the same amenities at the same level as anyone else in the city. If I think about the residents that I met, that I sent you the information on, they are making sacrifices for the benefit of the whole city, and in particular the residents of Flockton Basin, and they deserve to be treated with respect and kindness. What you as councillors say matters. You are our civic leaders and you have resource at your disposal and discretion. Attitudes that are expressed by councillors permeate to the officials who write the reports that you use to base your decisions on, and they permeate to staff and their dealings with the public. I implore you to read the material I sent you and see it for what it is. It's a specific case about a specific neighbourhood, but it's also representative of the inequity that we experience across the suburbs of the East. I implore you to embark upon a community roadshow to see and hear from locals what their concerns are and how we feel we have been treated. This is a small microcosm of what the issues in the eastern suburbs are, but it's representative of the way we feel we have been treated and had our views and wishes for our communities dismissed. We need to do this together. I congratulate the councillors and the community board members from the eastern suburbs, and I now see how big your challenge is that you face to get our projects across the line. I'm here to support your efforts and to work with you. We are all citizens of this city and we deserve a fair allocation of resource to ensure that we can move on from the quakes. We didn't cause the quakes, but we continue to be impacted by them, and Council has a vital role in helping us to recovery to the same level as anyone else in the city. Please treat us with fairness and ensure that we have an equitable allocation to support the things that we need to help our community thrive. Thank you.
And thank you very much for coming along and raising these matters this morning, and thanks also for your offer of support. It's important that we work together to resolve these issues. I'm aware of a body of work which is going on through the community board. I'm also aware of some communications which have been handled through our communications team in recent days, but there are certainly some good suggestions that have been made in your presentation this morning. We'll read the papers which have been supplied with interest, and if that leads on to further conversations and further work that needs to be done, well, this will have been a very useful exercise. So thank you very much indeed once again for joining us this morning. Kia ora.